We have some breaking news that just dropped moments ago surrounding Bo Bichette as a new report has dropped following Bo getting a second opinion with a doctor surrounding his injury. We have a brand new update regarding his future this season and also the severity of the injury. We're going to break down this breaking news and discuss what it means going forward, as well as a few other intriguing Jays updates ahead of tonight's second game of the series against Tampa Bay in the minor league stadium. Time to go over today, folks. Before we get into it all, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, quick reminder, hit the subscribe button. Your guys' support has been unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I had a video this morning. I had a video yesterday. Of course, all eyes are on Bo Bichette and the severity of his injury, as there was a report yesterday that the injury might be worse than we thought. That's what fans thought. And then B, he was going to see another doctor for a second opinion on the injury. And moments ago, we got a report from Jon Morosi, the guy who, has been a very good reporter as of late after the Ohtani incident. But he gave Jays fans some fantastic news, folks, and we can all take a deep breath of relief. Source, second opinion on Bo Bichette's left knee sprain has confirmed that the injury is A, short-term, and B, expected to improve with rest and rehabilitation. It's possible that Bichette returns in time for the postseason. He last played on September 6th. So he's been out 10 days now, but folks, this is as good of news as you possibly could have gotten. And obviously, I'm going to go through a bunch of different things with this, but this is huge for a few reasons. One, I covered it in this morning's video that, Schneider basically, even though there was a report that he was going to see, another doctor, Schneider kind of implied that there was a good chance that it was because of the fact, now he didn't report it, but that it was because of the fact that they want to make sure that the injury is going to be something that can't get worse with, playing, and that he can return for a postseason run and not, jeopardize the potential contract that he has coming for him in this offseason. Now, obviously, that is the news that clearly happened. It wasn't because it was an awful, horrible injury that he had to go see a second opinion for. It was because they wanted to make sure that it was all good, and that was the case. So it being short-term is very good news, and it is obviously good that it's expected to improve with rest and rehabilitation. I would have liked to see that it wouldn't get worse with playing, because that would mean he probably returns sooner than later. However, Jon Morosi confirms that it is possible he returns in time for the postseason, which, if they win the AL East, knock on wood, would be a couple of 3 weeks from now or so, because maybe a month or so, probably 3 weeks, because of course the wild card series starts September 30th. So yeah, about 2.5, 3 weeks. So let's just say 3 weeks for the sake of argument here, which would give him again another 3 weeks of rest, which also proves as to why winning the AL East is so important. Now, in case you missed my video earlier this morning, I will dive into what John Schneider said yesterday prior to getting these results back. And like I mentioned in this morning's video, I saw reason to be optimistic, and luckily I was, not to pump my own tires, I was right in that regard at least. He said he's in the best spirits it can be. We're just going to do our due diligence, and that's what they're doing, or rather, we're just doing our due diligence, and that's what this was with the doctor's meeting. He was probably feeling better than most of what the MRI showed, and was feeling probably better. So I think that getting through this appointment will give more clarity to him and us. Hopefully it's good news and we can say, okay, here's what we're going to do. So I expect tonight, potentially, or tomorrow, for us to get some updates from John Schneider before tonight's game or before tomorrow's game about what their plan is for Bo Bichette, especially following Jon Morosi getting this news. Now, he did say, John Schneider yesterday, before this new news dropped, that in a perfect world, if he can come back and play short, great. We'll see how this goes. With how he's moving, it seems to me that hitting will be a little bit in front of everything else. I think we'll know more tomorrow or the next day, which is now today or tomorrow. But if we can get his bat back, hell yeah, I'll take that. So, again, like I mentioned, I don't hate the idea of throwing him in the DH role and just keeping him off his feet as much as possible for the postseason, and then having Andres Gimenez at shortstop. I mean, we saw him play shortstop yesterday, and he almost won in the game with some of his defensive plays. He was unbelievable defensively, and someone that Bo's been a really bad defender on his career, especially this year. At the end of the day, he's never going to be a good defender. Gimenez is one of the best defenders in the league and one of the best defenders we've ever seen. So, at least in the modern era and the StatCast era. So, it is super exciting to have someone like him at least available to come back now. And you look at his baseball savant, defense bad, hitting great. That's the epitome of what Bo Bichette is. He's having his best offensive year, an 840 OPS, and by it being a short-term injury, one can assume that he's going to come back, right? I don't think they give him, and clearly this was given to Jon Morosi by someone within the organization. If there was even a chance he misses the postseason or many games in the postseason, they wouldn't, give this report out, because now this gives and would give fans fake hope. And ultimately, that's what they want to avoid, and that's what they have been avoiding by putting him on the IL basically immediately. So, as good of news as we possibly could have received, and like I kind of predicted, and most of us kind of thought, it was either going to be really bad or really good. I think it's pretty much really good. Like, I don't know what else you could possibly ask for. I guess him returning in the next couple days. He was placed on the 10-day IL. They'll probably maybe give him another 10-day IL stint with a potential, retroactive aspect to it so we can come back earlier. But at the same time, there's no need to rush him back. The Jays, luckily, thanks to Trey Savage yesterday and his start, have a fantastic lead on the AL East. Essentially 6 games at this point with the tiebreaker. So, I mean, you're at a point now where you're in a very, very good spot. Actually, might be 5 games. 6 games. Yeah, the Yankees did ultimately lose yesterday. So with the tiebreaker at 6 games, of course, 5 games if you just look at the standings. The Jays are in a great spot. And to prove how good they are, and I want you guys to pay attention to this stat here, the Jays, if they go 6-6 over the final 12 games, the Yankees would have to go undefeated in their final 12 games to win the AL East. So if the Jays go 500, they basically secure the AL East. If they go 4-8, the Yankees would have to go 10-2, and so on and so forth here. So if the Jays have a monumental collapse to end the year, the Yankees would still have to be really, really good. And the Yankees have been really bad lately. And just to finish up the year, they have the Rays again today, tomorrow, the next day, and then it's the Royals, Red Sox, Rays again. So pretty easy competition in theory, besides the Red Sox. But again, these teams always play the Jays tough. Luckily, they swept the Orioles. That was the biggest win of the year. And I think if they do win the AL East, we'll look back at that Orioles series as the one that kind of put the nail in the coffin. But let's not, get ahead of ourselves here now. A couple other things I want to go over before we wrap up here. Trey Savage, you can see this here. He had a 52.8 whiff rate on Monday, and since tracking began back in 2009, it's the highest by any Blue Jays starting pitcher, debut or otherwise, and it's the highest by any starting pitcher in his MLB debut in Jays history. So Trey Savage made some history. Yes, it's some advanced analytics with whiffs and things like that. It was the most dominant start we've seen in a very long time from any pitcher, rookie pitcher that is. I mean, you think back to Manoah against the Yankees, all these different things. Pearson against the Yankees, I believe, too. But it wasn't as dominant as this, and super, super exciting. And speaking of exciting, Braden Fisher, the man of the hour yesterday, spoke out about how crazy it was for him to go 2 scoreless innings and extras with the ghost runner. My teammates are just unbelievable people. The other day, they had my back. I go out there, give up a home run, and they have my back. Ernie Clement gave me a hug after the game. That's what teammates are for. Vibes are at an all-time high right now, and obviously the one thing dragging down in the back of all of our heads and dragging down the vibes, we're Bo Bichette potentially being out long-term. He won't be. He will not be. It's a short-term injury. The best possible news that we could have received on this Tuesday afternoon, and we can only make it better now is a Jays win and a Yankees loss, which would bring the magic number in the AL East down to 7, I believe. If the Jays just win, despite what happens with the Yankees, so we'll have to keep things rolling here. And again, he visited Dr. Dan Cooper, who I believe, according to Buck Martinez, is the Dallas Cowboys knee guy and someone who is really good at knee injuries. Great news because he obviously evaluates running backs. Bo Bichette's good to go. And hopefully we'll see him play in the foreseeable future. That'll wrap it up. You can see here Jamie Campbell saying they love each other. I can see it in the clubhouse every day I walk in. And hopefully the Jays can take care of business tonight and continue this exciting season.